This is Joseph Lucero with Powerlifting Technique. And today, what I want to talk about is my favorite back and bicep workout to help you improve your performance today. One of my heroes is Bill Kazmaier, and he said it best: a strong back equals a strong man. And the whole idea behind that is that you have to build your posterior anatomy to support your anterior anatomy. When I was a young man, I loved bench pressing. I still love bench pressing, so don't get me wrong. But in order to bench press strong, you have to have a strong back. And if you think about it, if you want to have a great deadlift, you should have a strong back. And while we're on the topic, if you want to have a top level squat, you probably want to have a strong back. When it comes to building your strength, it's important to have a strong back. And because the biceps support your back movements, you might as well have strong biceps too. Because if you're the type of person who bench presses and has massive elbow flare, it puts more strain on their shoulder joint, you probably have a bicep issue. And a lot of times, strength athletes like strongmen and powerlifters, they don't really think about bicep training. So when it comes to this workout that I'm going to show you today, you really want to focus on your back, your biceps, in order to help you do all things strength. That was my favorite personally because I love training these muscle groups, and I think that they have a great effect on filling out your anatomy, but they also have a strong role in strength training if you're a strong man or a powerlifter. But let's get to the workout. Let's talk about the logistics. So in order to have a strong back and bicep workout, you have to start out with my favorite exercise, which is the deadlift. Now, I know there's some people out there who are like, I don't want to deadlift. I'm never going to deadlift. I'm never going to compete, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the problem is this: if you don't deadlift, then what you're doing is you're limiting yourself, not performing one of these great multi-joint movements that could really cost a lot of metabolic exhaustion into your workout to make you a more successful athlete. Think about it like this, and I've said this in billions of videos before. I've seen people with a strong back and a strong deadlift, and I've noticed a comparison. People with a strong deadlift have a big back, but people with a big back might not necessarily have a big deadlift. So what I think about the deadlift is that if you can perform the deadlift and really push yourself in that sense, you're really going to allow your posterior anatomy to thrive, especially metabolically, because I would argue the fact that I think the deadlift works more muscle groups than any other movement possible, even more than the squat. So I think for a great back day, you want to start with deadlifts and you want to build up to a heavy set of 5. Now, if you're doing this for several weeks, obviously you're going to add a little bit more weight each time. But for your first workout, I definitely recommend that for a great back and bicep workout, you want to start off with deadlifts with the top set of 5. Now, the next thing on your back and bicep workout is going to be optional, but we're going to throw it in there anyway. It's the farmer walk. Now, I've known plenty of people who tell me, hey, the farmer walk is not going to build a hypertrophic response in your routine. It kind of goes back from the deadlift. People with a big deadlift are going to have a big back. So if you're going to farmer walk a lot of weight, you're probably going to have a really big back because of that. And plus, I think it's something that's different, it's unique, and can cost even more metabolic exhaustion in your workout to hopefully help the rest of the movement that you choose to do to be more influential in building your anatomy. We're going to deadlift a top set of 5. So if that takes you 2 sets or 3 sets, you build up to it. You're going to farmer walk for 2 sets of 100 feet, because I think if you go 100 feet, that's going to be harder to do. So maybe you don't lift as much as you would do in a traditional setting with maybe a 50-foot walk. But after the farmer walk's done, you're going to do bent rows. Now, because you're doing farmer walks, I might recommend 2 sets, but for most people, I'm going to go ahead and say do 3 sets of 10. But with the bent row, what's really great about that is you bent over, you're in a hinged position, so you're recruiting not just your lats, your chest, but also your erectors, your glutes, your hamstrings. A lot of muscle groups are involved, and I think the bent row is iconic for building such a massive back. Heavy set of deadlifts, farmer walks into bent row. I say do 2 sets, maybe 3 sets, depending if you choose to do the farmer walk. But from there is where we add a ton more hypertrophy into your workout. So once that bed row set's done, you're going to do eccentric chin ups for 5 sets of 5. And what I mean by eccentric is we're focusing on the opposing phase of the movement. Now, most movements are going to have a desirable and an undesirable part to them. So with the chin up, what's the desirable part? It's pulling yourself up. That's when we start to count the reps. 1, 2, 3. But opposite of the desirable phase is the undesirable phase, which is coming downward. And usually during that phase is when the muscle stretches, and we call that the eccentric phase of the movement. And when that happens, that's a very exhausting part of movement. And especially if you incorporate tempo, that makes it tremendously hard to perform. So instead of doing just chin-ups, we're going to do eccentric chin-ups, because in addition to all the great things I've talked about, when you do it eccentric, it's a little bit easier for beginners and intermediate lifters, because if I weighed 100 pounds doing chin-ups, that might not be as hard as someone who weighs 300 pounds. But because we're doing eccentrics and we're focusing on just bringing the arms of the body down in this sense, we're stretching the biceps and a little bit in the back, but we're going from here, and then you're stretching and allowing your body to come downward. And when that happens, you're causing a lot of muscular fatigue to occur in the biceps. So that's going to be a really great precursor to getting the biceps recruited and heavily involved in this great back and bicep workout. So just to recap, you built up to a top set of 5 on deadlifts. You did farmer walks for 2 sets. And then from there, you did bent rows. And now you're doing eccentric chin-ups. And when you do the eccentric chin-ups, you're going for 5 seconds down. So you can use like a 5-metric box. You could use a bench. You could use a chair. But you're going to hop up and cheat to the top of the chin-up. And then you'll allow your body to come down as slow as possible for about 5 seconds to stretch the bicep muscle, to really exhaust it into the next movements we're about to talk about. So from there, then you'll do dumbbell bicep curls, 3 sets of 20. So lots of reps to really evoke growth and development of the bicep muscle. And then to finish your workout, we're going to go pretty crazy on this part. We're going to do a mega set of seal rows. So imagine a flat bench. We're going to go a set of 100. And how you'll do these 100 reps is very specific. So with a mega set, I like it to be where you pick a weight that you can handle for about 20 reps, but to go to failure. So if I was to lay on a flat bench and pull dumbbells towards my body to recruit my traps, my rhomboids, my upper traps, my shoulders, etc., if I was to do 20 reps with 30 pounds, I would pick the 30 pounds, but I would go to failure. So let's say I lay flat on the bench, and I do 24, I take a 20-second break. I do 20, take a 20-second break, and then I do 15. From there, 24 and 20 and 15, that makes 59 reps. That means I have 41 reps left. If you get to the point where you have to take 3 breaks, go ahead and cut the weight in half. So if I'm doing 30 pounds for 24 reps, and then 20 reps, and then 15 reps, and I still have a bunch more reps to go, I'm going to cut that weight in half from 30 pounds to 15 pounds. And I'm hoping when I cut that weight in half, I'll be able to get more reps to hopefully expedite the process of getting to 100 reps. But all in all, if I was to review this workout with you, it'd be a heavy set of 5 on deadlift, farmer walks for 2 sets of 100 feet, bent rows, eccentric chin-ups, the dumbbell curls, and then the seal rows up to 100 reps. This is a lot of movement, y'all. This is not an easy workout. But like I mentioned before, if you want to be a strong man, whether that means a powerlifter or a strong man, you have to have a strong back. And if you cannot push yourself through this workout, you might not be allowing yourself to really thrive with your posterior anatomy, to decelerate the weight when you bench, or to support your posture when you squat, or to support your posture when you deadlift. This is a great, fun workout to really hammer a bunch of muscle groups at once and to make it a very exhausting workout to make you more successful as a strength athlete. If you have a question about this routine, or you want to learn more about what is a mega set, why would I use a mega set, why would I do 100 reps versus 20 versus 12, want an peak farmer walks, that's a strongman movement, not a hypertrophic movement. Whatever questions you have, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Subscribe, like the channel, and let's talk about these things. Let's get into the depth of it all. So my name's Joseph Lucero. I'm a powerliftingtechnique.com. If you have more questions, like I said, leave them in the comments below, and hopefully we'll catch you next time.